Hey, I'm Courtney Brooke, and this is Hustle for Happiness podcast. We are all on this journey to find happiness, and let's face it, it takes work. And honestly, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. This podcast is dedicated to helping you navigate life and cut through the noise. As a certified life coach, recovering perfectionist, and survivor of the foster care system, I'm all about keeping things real. With my unique outlook on life that is truly infectious, we cover everything from achieving happiness and optimal self-care to stories of those sharing their wisdom and expertise. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Now, let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Hustle for Happiness podcast. I am so excited to introduce my guest today, Jeremy McGhee. Now, I know you might be thinking, how could this guy be so positive after something so traumatic? But let me tell you, Jeremy is living proof that happiness comes from within and not without. Before his motorcycle crash in 2001, Jeremy was thriving as an athlete through various sports. He was your typical thrill seeker, loving everything from running to surfing to snowboarding. But when tragedy struck, Jeremy didn't let it define him. Instead, he rolled up his sleeves and got to work rebuilding his life. In 2012, he did something incredible. He climbed up a massive mountain in the Eastern Sierras and skied back down. Pretty cool, right? But it's not just about the adventure. It's about the message it sends. No matter what life throws your way, you can overcome it. And today, Jeremy's not just sitting around. He's making a real difference. As the brains behind the UNpavement Project and a pro rider, he's helping people with disabilities enjoy the great outdoors, just like everyone else. Rather than letting paralysis define him, though, Jeremy totally reinvented himself, and now he's out there crushing it through adaptive sports like mountain biking. Today, we're going to hear all the details of Jeremy's journey, from the accident itself to the process of acceptance. We'll also learn practical strategies he uses to manage tough emotions. Beyond Jeremy's story, I know you'll gain insights that can uplift you no matter what challenges you face. So pour yourself something cozy, put your feet up, and get ready to feel motivated by this conversation. I am so grateful Jeremy is willing to be vulnerable today. My hope is that his message of resilience will empower you to live fully. Let's dive in and start our chat. All right. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Hustle for Happiness podcast. I am so excited to have you. When we first talked on the phone, your energy really resonated with me and got me really excited for this episode and just to meet you in person. And so I just want to personally thank you so much for taking your time. And I want to also let the listeners know who you are. Why did we connect and your story? And I personally resonate with that specifically. And so just tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and kind of like how you live your life.
Who am I?
Who are you?
I am a blind worm crawling on my belly.
Yes, he is. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, the facts of who I am, I'm a San Diego native.
Yeah.
Born and raised. I was in a motorcycle wreck in 2001.
Yeah.
That rendered me paralyzed. I'm paraplegic.
Yeah.
I've been a pro athlete most of my life.
Yeah.
I'm an adventurer. I mean, that's kind of the factual bullet points there.
I feel like, do you think that growing up here in San Diego, we both did, it's been a huge part of my life, sports, outdoors. Has San Diego really shaped where your adventure came from? Or where did you, before your accident, we'll get to your story and we'll get to like post-accident, but growing up here, what was your daily life like? What did you get involved with? What were your passions? Tell the listeners a little bit about you pre-accident.
The question, did San Diego?
Yeah.
I mean, is that why I'm outdoorsy? I mean, maybe. Because growing up here, everything was outdoors, as you know. Even our schools are outdoors, which I have learned later in life that that's not how it is everywhere else.
It's so funny that you say that. So funny.
Yeah. like our passing periods, like we go outside and it's nice.
Yeah, like James says, like, because I don't know about you, but when you think about high school and stuff you see in the movies, everything's indoors. And James, my husband, he's from the East Coast. And he's like, wait, your schools are outside? That is so Californian. Like everything is outside.
Yeah. And we say the 5.
The 405.
The 15.
That's
which
true,
I've learned later in life that people don't say that.
They don't say that, but we do.
They say Interstate 5 or whatever, I guess.
Highway, route.
But yeah, growing up here, I mean, I didn't have any parenting growing up.
Okay.
0 parenting.
Really?
Yeah. Single mom that just worked a bunch, 3 kids. So it was like, just come home at some point. And so we were just outdoors, skateboarding, riding our bikes to the beach, surfing, boogie boarding, tromping through the canyon, meeting illegal immigrants, finding porno mag stashes.
Heck yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
But
that's
also
what life is
there's like a double-edged sword.
Yes.
Did you help with raising your siblings? Like, I'm just thinking like 3 kids. Did you guys run around together? Like, how did you?
Sister actually ended up living with our dad. And so it was just ended up being just my little brother and me.
Okay.
And we're 14 months apart. So yeah, we basically just like ran around together.
Wow.
Yeah, riding like backyard skateboard ramps and just being outdoors everywhere we went.
I guess that's the start of your adventure, is being without parents, raising yourself together and adventuring all over San Diego.
Basically, yeah.
And so did you play sports growing up? Like you mentioned when we were talking earlier, you've shared with me, you've done snowboarding and surfing. Was it your crew of friends? Like, how did you get into any of those? Those are adventure sports.
Yeah, I did play sports growing up, mostly football. When you don't have parents like helping you, understand, what you're good at and what your talents are and stuff, you kind of just, as an adolescent, you kind of just follow the tide and, do what's cool, Football was cool.
Yes, it is, especially being here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I loved it and I did well because I worked hard, but I was never, ever going to take it anywhere. I mean, look at me. I'm skinny and white.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever take football anywhere. And I think if I would have had parents that helped me realize what I was good at, I probably would have ran cross country and been in the drama club.
Really?
More of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You like acting and all that stuff?
I do. Yeah.
Have you done any acting?
I have.
Do you want to do something for us?
Sure.
No wonder you know all these one-liners. Wait, so did you go to acting school? Because you did mention earlier.
I haven't done anything. Yeah, I grew up playing football, and that's what I did.
So you did it because it was cool. I totally get that, though. Do you think not having parents around really started your journey of learning to adapt to your environments?
Very good question. Yeah, I'm very proud of that. I've kind of learned everything the hard way, and there's really no better way to learn it. For me, that's the best way to learn anything, is to learn it yourself, and the hard way to just learn something, without guidance. There's a lot less failure involved. And so therefore those lessons aren't like as deeply ingrained. I don't know. And if you can come out the other side, alive, then I don't know.
I mean, to me, I can relate to that. I didn't have a super strong structure. I mean, I grew up in foster care and I went from home to home. And I think that there's a testament to when you're learning at a young age that you don't have someone guiding you, you learn to guide yourself. That inner voice is strong.
100%.
Is that how you feel too?
Yeah. And, I spend 99% of my time alone. I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
I'm fueled by being alone. So I guess that makes me an introvert. And, if I'm ever injured or sick, I just want to be alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to post on Facebook
that
I'm injured
I'm
like
sick,
everybody
or
does.
I'm in bed. Yeah.
I'm like, anyways.
Announcing.
And that gets me in trouble if I'm ever like, trying to date somebody or whatever, and I just want to be alone a lot. That gets me in trouble. That's hard for people to understand a lot.
I can relate to that a lot. Like when I was had my surgery I was sharing with you earlier, it was really hard for me to receive someone taking care of me. I mean, I'm married to James and I'm still processing in my head, like, I can just do this on my own. Like, it's that mentality, and saying I can just do this on my own is deeply probably ingrained in you, probably.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of I can just do this on my own. How has that helped, or is that a blessing for you, or you see it sometimes as a curse? Like you said, dating is hard.
It's both. There's pros and cons to everything. And, like you used the term razor's edge earlier, where, we're constantly riding this razor's edge.
Yeah.
It can be to a fault, but also is a very positive thing. I'm very proud of being very self-sustained, in a lot of ways. And it's been work for me to, small things. Like I always, whenever anybody offered me anything, like you asked if I want a coffee earlier or a scone, in the past, my automatic answer would have been no.
Yeah.
No, I'll always say no to anything when anything is offered. And that's just one small thing worked on, trying to say yes when people offer me things.
Right, receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been taught your whole life to do things on your own. Why wouldn't you? That no is so easy.
Right.
It's so easy. So you grew up in a family where you were really close with your brother. You're adventuring around, and then you grew up here, went to high school here. What were your days like? You said you went to college.
Yep.
Point Loma. What'd you study?
I studied literature. I was going to be an English teacher. I wanted to be a football coach. So
I was
like, you have to be a teacher too if you want to be a football coach. Who's the coolest teacher but your English teacher,
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll be an English teacher and coach football.
And so when did your accident happen?
2001. So I was 25. I've been graduated from college for 3
years.
3 years. Yeah.
And so not the hanging fruit, but let's hear your story.
Okay.
I'm dying. Just so you know, I have completely avoided, I've read and looked at your Instagram and your YouTube and your things, but let's share with our listeners your story of how you became paralyzed.
Yeah, I was just running errands on my motorcycle 6 blocks from my house. I fall right into the statistic.
Yeah. What is that statistic?
Accidents happen within
a mile, right?
A mile or two of your house.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just this culmination of factors that happened. So I was passing this guy who was on my left, and there was an RV parked on the side of the road and a driveway after the RV. And so I was doing the responsible thing of just peer around the RV real quick to make sure no one's coming out.
Right.
And in that split second where I took my eyes off in front of me to peer around the RV, just real quick, just checking the driveway like you would normally do driving any vehicle,
Driving, you're just looking.
Yeah. And a lady turned left in front of that guy I was passing. She was a nurse. It came out later. She was a nurse in a hurry to get cigarettes on her pump brake. Yeah,
oh, gosh.
At a 7-Eleven right there. It's a little strip mall, 7-Eleven, Boot World. Yeah, Boot World is forever ingrained in my memory.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so her view of me was blocked because that guy was between me and her. And so she goes to turn in and my eyes are off for that split second, right when she made that turn. And she made a quick turn. The guy had to slow down.
So you got hit.
And so I slammed in the side of her car. The first thing, the vision that's ingrained in my head is the side mirror of her car in my face. Wow. Side mirror right here.
So you got kissed.
Yeah.
A big old smooching.
Yeah. And the next thing I know, I'm laying in the street. All I had time to do was just cock the handlebar. That's how much time I had. Just cock the handlebar, because you want to lay the bike down. So I went to, but that was it. And next thing I know, I'm laying in the street. I can't see. I'm blind and I can't get up. I can't feel my lower body. And, I was a lifeguard at the time.
Okay.
So I was very familiar with assessing injuries in an emergency situation. And, the first thing I realized, I must have a spinal injury.
So you started assessing yourself.
I was assessing my own
without
injuries.
Even seeing
Yeah. I was like, okay, I have a spinal injury. And then every breath was excruciating.
Really?
And so, okay, I broke some ribs. Turns out I broke almost all of them. Have you ever had a broken rib?
No, I haven't.
It's the worst pain. It's so bad.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And then the next thing I assessed, I could taste blood in my mouth. And I was like, okay, those broken ribs have punctured
a lung.
punctured a lung. I have a punctured lung. And then the next assessment was serious. I could feel my hands and arms and face getting cold, like really fast. And I was like, oh shit, I'm bleeding either internally or
it's going fast
somewhere where I can't feel. Like, okay, this is a big deal.
And you can't see. So I'm just imagining like your body's firing. Like,
yeah,
because you can't see to look, like when you look down, did I lose anything or
right. Yeah. Can I not feel my lower body because it's not even there anymore or something?
Something.
I've never even thought about that. That's interesting. I was like, oh, okay, this is serious. I'm losing blood. And the feeling and the thoughts that I remember having was the pavement being very warm and very inviting.
So you just pulled yourself.
And I just started to feel really, really tired.
Okay.
Like I just want to go to sleep. I was like, okay, this is it. And I just was like ready to just fall asleep. And the thought I was having was I just want my mom and my friends to know that like I'm fine. Like even at 25, I had already lived a crazy life.
Like it's like your life is flashing before your eyes right now.
No,
you kind of feel,
my life wasn't flashing before my eyes.
But gratitude came in or what?
But I like not really a fear, but concern was I don't want my mom or my friends to think like I was suffering. I want them to know I wasn't suffering and I was at peace. That was my one thought. Like I was totally okay. So I started to fall asleep right there and just let go. And there's a man's voice all of a sudden. He's like, the paramedics are right here, man. Just hang on.
Wow.
Apparently,
the chills.
Yeah, there's paramedics across the street at a taco shop on break.
Come on.
And not just EMTs, like legit paramedics. And how long does it take you to like drop your food and run across the street?
Seconds.
4 seconds.
And they're probably like trained. I mean, you were a lifeguard. It's similar.
They saw it happen.
Boom, they react.
Yeah. And so my little moment in the street, although like it felt forever, like more than 4 seconds, was very quick.
Wow.
And so they were on me, and then it was like business time. Then things changed.
So you heard this man's voice.
Yep.
What did that do for you in that moment?
It like pulled me out. Well, like woke me up because I was falling, just like ready to fall asleep. And it switched my mindset. Like, okay, switch to survival mode. It's now survival mode. Like, okay, there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Right. So you're saying there's a chance.
One in a million.
There is a chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to try to survive here. So the paramedics were on me. And the first thing they did was take my helmet off and I could see. My helmet was twisted sideways. That's why I couldn't see.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But it's crazy what our minds would do.
Right?
You probably thought you were blind.
That wasn't an assessment in the list of assessments.
Okay, so your helmet was twisted.
My helmet was twisted to the side, so I couldn't see it all.
You know what I'm thinking of as you're saying this? It was a blessing your helmet was twisted. If you saw what was actually going on.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm just wondering, everything happens. I believe that like the paramedics were there. Your helmet, like your background of like.
It's weird.
It's really amazing.
It's everything's weird. Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. It's all these like culmination of factors that just have all came together. And then, they backboarded me. The first thing I did was cut my very expensive brand new jacket off.
Okay.
And this, the scissors are so sharp. They don't even like action the scissors.
They shear.
It's just like without even actioning the scissors. And I was like, wait. He's like, sorry, bro.
Don't
jacket
even.
right off.
No. Oh my gosh. Like, no. Okay.
Not my jacket.
We can sew it.
Oh no, it's gone.
Yeah. You're like, all right. So he cuts into your jacket.
And they backboard me and everything. And I was actually critiquing their performance. I was like, oh, they moved my neck. So you
weren't even in panic.
No.
Like what was going through?
I
Like
wasn't
me, I'm like over here.
All. I wasn't panicked at all. Totally calm. I was, assessing their performance. It was funny.
Okay, what a great distraction is what I'm hearing. But
yeah, and they get me in the back of the ambulance, and when you're inside the ambulance, the sirens are very loud.
I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, and they had me all strapped down and everything, and the paramedic in the back was with me. He's like, okay, they are ready for you at the hospital. They're waiting for you. We're going to have you there in a couple minutes. I just need you to sign this form so I could prep you for surgery. That's all he told me. I was like, and my hand.
Did you ask?
My wrist was strapped down. No, I didn't ask anything.
Oh, gosh.
And he just like pushed a pen in my hand.
Oh, like took your hand and wrote for you?
No, he just pushed a pen into my hand.
Like
I held it.
Okay.
And he shoved a clipboard with a piece of paper like underneath it. And I just kind of like, I was like, it's not really a signature. He's like, it's fine.
You're signing your life away.
He like shot a syringe in the air and then
stuck
me with it. And the next thing I know, I woke up in an MRI tube.
I'm like, if you guys are not watching this, I'm like squirming. I'm excited. I'm like, I don't watch scary movies or anything suspenseful. This is crazy. So you took this shot. That was what, an anesthesia or something?
It must have been a sedative or something.
Okay. You didn't know what was going to
whatever they give you to prep you for surgery. I don't really know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it knocked me out instantly.
Okay. And so you wake up.
I wake up and I'm in an MRI tube.
A tube post-surgery or pre?
It was post-surgery. And I kind of said something, I don't know, I can't remember what. And a voice, clicks on the speaker. And I was like, okay. And they said, okay, you're awake. I'm your doctor so-and-so. God, I can't remember his name. I'm your doctor so-and-so. And before I tell you anything, just know that if those paramedics were not there, you would not be here.
Yeah. What went through your mind when they told you that?
Okay. So just thankfulness.
Right.
Immediately.
And any feelings of scared or what thoughts? Do you remember the thoughts that you were thinking of?
I don't remember feeling scared. It was like, okay, give it to me. Like, what are we dealing with here? You know? And he's like, well, you've sustained, a spinal cord injury. He's like, you broke your thoracic 10, 11, 12 vertebrae and sustained a spinal cord injury. What that means, we'll have to discuss. There's no answers. There's nothing clear cut right now. He's like, but the main thing is, you had, so like the gas tank of a motorcycle sits in front of you, like your legs are kind of spread around the gas tank, straddling the gas tank. And so on impact, I hit that.
Okay, so your pelvic floor, your hips hit the center of the bike.
The perineal area,
the groin.
The chode for lack of
okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a picture. So you're
split open because that's against your pelvis. Like there's nowhere for the skin to go.
Oh gosh.
So that's where I was bleeding from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're split down the middle. Literally.
Basically
split down the middle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he's like, that was the main thing. And he's like, we were able to control the bleeding and stop the bleeding in surgery. He's like, it wasn't easy. He's like, we were able to save your spleen. You've also, listed all the ribs. He's like, your hip is broken in half. And it literally was.
And so as he's listing all these things, did any fear come in? Like what was going through your mind?
It was kind of business mode.
Yeah.
It was kind of business mode. I've been angry. I've been sad. I've been scared. I've been all of those things, like up and down, alone at night in the hospital room, all that stuff. But like in the moment, I wasn't those things. And like in this moment, I don't remember being those things. Well, I was in a lot of pain. There was that.
No doubt. No, that's all.
And so that was kind of that. So that was kind of the main thing. Like every breath was like so excruciating. And then having a broken back is gnarly pain.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Lots of pain. My nerves were all going crazy. There's a condition called autonomic dysreflexia. This is where it's basically like if you have a spinal injury, your lower body telling you something's wrong.
Okay.
So the nerve receptors are in like below a spinal cord injury all work.
Okay.
They're still there.
Okay.
The thing that's injured is the spine.
Okay. So the message relay.
So the messages are being sent up the central nervous system and then blocked and then rerouted out to the central nervous system.
And that's where it doesn't work.
And that's not your central nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system. And that controls all your autonomic functions.
Your movements?
No, like your homeostasis, your body temperature, your
regulating
your heart rate, your blood pressure, like all these automatic functions.
Things that we don't think about.
That you don't need to think about, but your body just does. Yeah. Well, breathing is a weird one because you can control it.
Yes. Okay.
Breathing is one of those ones that you control with either system.
You've learned probably a lot about your body through this, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And for me, when I'm feeling, the slang term we use for autonomic dysreflexia is dysreflexic. When I'm feeling dysreflexic, I'm basically just really sick.
Really?
I go from hot flashes to extreme chills, and I'm super nauseous. So I had all that going on to this day.
To this
if
day,
I have an injury, like a lower body injury,
really,
I'll start to feel like mildly dysreflexic if I'm just like traveling a bunch and pushing it, you know, and who knows what's going on with my body. You know, maybe my feet are swelling or, you know, something like that. And my body is just saying, chill out, bro.
I mean,
and I call it going to the dark side. Like I feel myself starting to go to the dark side, and, you know, I'll have to like drink some water, pop some Advil, and lay down. You know?
Right, like literally rest.
Literally rest.
You're like listening to your body.
Yes.
Which, you know, I don't wish people go through an accident to listen to their body, but there is things that our bodies do to tell us to slow down. And you have heightened sensory.
Which is crazy to think of because my sensations cut off.
Right.
That is a little
mind F.
I'm not sure. Can I cuss on your podcast?
You can do whatever you want
bleep
to.
It. You can bleep it.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I bleep F-bombs on mine.
That's fun.
But then it's like bleep, 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 bleep on mine.
Okay, then it's like a rap song. No, just kidding. All right, so you were told all this.
So in the MRI tube, you know, when it comes to answer the question, like, were you feeling fearful and stuff like that? I was like, you know, I was just more in pain and more sick than my bandwidth was full.
Yeah.
As far as what I was experiencing already to bring in emotions and stuff. Yeah.
So it sounds like it was at that time a distraction to really process what's going on in your life and how now your life is going to be changed.
Oh yeah. Nowhere near that type of processing yet.
You weren't like
nowhere near.
So it's
survival mode.
When he was telling you all this information, you didn't say, oh my gosh, my life, but you said, what do I need to do?
Basically.
Wow. Yeah. That's courageous.
Yeah, did I ask him if I'm going to walk again? I might have. I don't remember if I did or not, but I remember him telling me, you know, I did ask him because I remember his answer now.
What did he say?
He said, majority of people with this type of injury do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. He was very, very robotic about it, which I appreciate.
Yes, because as much as you can be emotional about it, that's the news.
That's the news. That's the facts.
And so you now in your head, what did you do once you heard that?
I remember a cop came in and was like asking me questions. And I was like, not now, bro. Not now, bro.
Yeah,
and I could barely talk too.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's all pretty foggy. I was super drugged up.
Yeah, I mean, post-surgery.
Yeah. And I remember they gave me the button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They gave me the Dilaudid button. And I remember just going like this with it. It would like administer, you know, the drug only so often. If I remember being like every 7 minutes.
Oh, that's how much pain you were in.
I was destroyed. Like, yeah.
I can imagine. So post-surgery, what was your recovery time? I mean, not mentally. That's a whole nother recovery.
It went pretty fast, actually. I was young. You know, I was 25.
Yes,
I healed fast. My body healed pretty fast. Yeah, baby cells. I was in intensive care for, I think, about a week. It's all a fog because of I was just on major drugs. I remember hallucinating and my friends just laughing at the things I was saying I was seeing.
Oh, you got a crew in there?
That was pretty funny. Oh yeah, I had my good friends, man.
They were there for you.
Yeah, the nurse, the ICU nurse who I'm friends with to this day.
Wow.
It's a crazy story how I got in back contact with her. Ran into her randomly at a beach party years later.
I love that.
And she's like, is your name? This girl comes up to me. I was living in Mission Beach for a while.
Yeah.
And I was, my house was a couple back from the beach. So I would go up to the enclosed patio at the vacation rental at the end of the block.
Mm-hmm.
So that was right on the beach, you know? And I would sit there and have a drink or whatever. And there was a group that had rented the vacation rental partying kind of on the other side of the patio. And I was by myself kind of in the dark in the corner.
Yeah.
And this girl comes out of the group. I was like, hey, is your name Jeremy?
Are you stalking me?
And it was my ICU nurse.
Wait, I love that.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
So we're friends to this day.
Right,
and she said that she's never seen anybody with so many friends waiting for them in the hospital, like sitting in the hospital with them. Yeah.
Showing up
I'd have like a friend organize the visits.
Wow.
Like it was awesome. Like,
how was that for you, receiving that love?
I was stoked. Yeah, I was stoked. It kept me busy too.
Yeah.
You know, it kept my mind off things. I mean, it was good and bad. Like I felt like I needed to be the strong one, you know?
Right.
So I was just like, kind of just like, I mean, being myself, making jokes and stuff like that.
Right, which is your pattern, probably.
But, not really showing the struggle to anybody,
What's that struggle? What was that struggle for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, when nobody was there, when it was nighttime and
quiet
in the hospital, it was like, what the fuck just happened?
That's when it hits you.
Yeah. And you're like, this isn't real. There's no way.
Right.
This is real. Like,
is this really happening?
Yeah.
Like, just what I think of, like, just wake up. Like, wake up from this.
Yeah. More like those types of feelings and tons of anger.
How did you work through that? What helped you?
Just surviving, I think, is what helped me. Like, focused on just getting better fast.
Healing.
I really just wanted to like get back in the water.
Right. Surfing.
Get back to stuff. And so focused on that stuff. I gave myself, and I'm told by a therapist later that this was like things that like something that therapists teach people. I gave myself what I call the 10-minute rule. Where I would allow myself to like bawl, scream, whatever, and I'd watch the clock for 10 minutes. But like I would find myself like watching the clock. Okay, is it 10 minutes over yet?
Right.
Because I didn't need the full 10 minutes. So it was kind of a weird thing that would happen. And then I was allowed to call somebody.
Okay.
Or do something.
So allow those emotions to come in and then let them come in. And it could be minute 2 and you still had to sit with those emotions. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm ready to move on now.
Do you still use that 10-minute rule this day?
Yes, it's the 5-minute rule now.
Okay.
I don't have as much time anymore.
Right. Right.
And
it's evolved.
And again, I don't even need that. Like I tried to, those feelings are very real and are important to acknowledge. But when it comes down to like what I'm trying to accomplish or whatever, like feelings like that just are hindrances. They're not going to get me anywhere,
Right. Like you allow yourself to sit in it for 10 minutes and you move on. You keep living life.
Yeah. And we can't base decisions out of those types of emotions.
I agree. My mom always told me growing up, never make a decision based on your emotion. And to this day, like I live by that because those emotions can be a wrong choice.
Yep.
It's not who we are. It's just a feeling, right?
Yep.
And it's often the reality. It's for me, I feel like, and you probably can resonate with this, is when those emotions did come in, it didn't feel like you. Right. It was probably something coming out versus like this logical brain when those 10 minutes were up. There's a difference in your mental state when you allowed those feelings to come out and then you move on.
I don't think I had the wherewithal to be able to think about it to that level yet at 25.
Yeah. No.
I really didn't know my face from my ass, to be honest with you.
Right. But what I'm hearing is, so you went through therapy. What else helped you get through finding?
I've gone through therapy later in life as an older man.
Okay.
But not then. Nature and activity has always been my therapy.
So what post-accidents, how did your life change? I mean, obviously you went from walking to a wheelchair. What else happened for you? How did your family take it?
I wasn't able to, my career path was stopped. I was working towards being a career lifeguard. And so that was no longer an option. And I was also working as a server and a restaurant manager.
Okay.
Although I went back to help the restaurant out later, like redoing their side work list and things like that. It was still too tough, like physically. I just always felt in the way. So I couldn't really be a server anymore or anything. So, I mean, logistically, that was like the main thing that how my life changed. That you had to figure something else out.
Did people treat you differently?
Oh, yeah. People are weird. Weird. But I mean, God bless them.
Let's talk about it.
Because people don't know what to do,
Yeah. And I'm sure, I'd love to hear, what did you instantly see and feel?
I think the first thing that was really tough for me, is, and now it just is not a big deal at all. It just rolls right off me. It's not even a thought. Like kids staring at me, that was really tough at first. I remember like my first time like grocery shopping and it's like, people staring at me. I was like, okay, this is something I'm probably going to have to get used to.
Right.
That was pretty tough at first. But man, people are great. They're trying,
yes, but what do you notice about people?
And just say really weird stuff to me.
Yeah, like almost like they don't know how to...
They don't know what to say, but they feel like they need to say something.
And what would you like them to say? Or how would you like them to ask? Right, just see you as you.
Yeah, just nothing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't in a chair, I'd probably be just anonymous.
Right.
That would be nice.
Which is what you like.
Yes. That's why we're like all black and, I just want to be less attention.
Well, we talked about this as we were setting up, is you switching from your wheelchair to our chairs we're sitting in. Like, that's become your security. That's become your... Do you see that post-accident, your identity has shifted a little bit or shifted?
I don't know how much has to do with my accident or how much it just has to...
The evolution.
Just getting older and becoming more of myself.
Yeah.
Becoming more comfortable with who I am with that.
Right. What do you feel? And this is like, I love the white elephants in the room because, people probably, like you said, treat you differently. What misconceptions have you discovered being in a wheelchair that people have had about you or in general?
Dude, the biggest one I found.
I love these things.
People like automatically think I'm a good person.
Really?
And put me on a pedestal. They think, and I'm like, do not do that.
Like, what do they do?
I'm a regular dude who says and does messed up shit. And
yeah, you're still human, just on wheel form.
And so, it happens exactly.
I'm still
exactly.
Me.
Wheel form. I like that. Yeah, it happens to me with new friends.
Okay.
Or with dating even, like they've got this idea of who I am, that's like preconceived notion, and then I very easily and quickly disappoint them. And then they're angry with me.
Like they see you as less? Or do they see you as more? Like, what do you mean?
More, like put me on a pedestal.
And so why do they get upset? What do you, like, is there a recent example or is there an example you have?
It happens so much. It happens all the time. I can't think of an example right now. It's just a weird thing that happens. Like people have like really high expectations of me. Like I would love it if I could, live up to all of them. But
like, what would be an expectation? I'm trying to understand because it's like this is an amazing opportunity that we can talk about this and help society see all people in wheelchairs as normal people.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I'm totally blanking right now.
It's okay.
Hopefully,
how did your family react to your accident, or
not too close with my family.
Right. So is your friends. How did they react?
I mean, just full support, whatever they could do.
Yeah.
They all, like, my college roommate, my really good buddy, Jeff, he, like, and a couple of friends, like, rallied everybody to, like, give, like, these small amounts every month, like $10, $25.
Wait, really?
Like, every month for a year to pay for, like, I plugged into this really intensive and expensive therapy program.
What was it?
At the time, it was called Project Walk. It was kind of just basically a gym, and just trying to
rehabilitate,
trying to see if we can get like lower body and nerves to wake up, and see if walking and recovering was possible.
Right. I mean, you're gonna try anything.
And that's really the only way to find out. Some spinal cord injuries, like things heal and naturally and they recover, and others, if recovery is possible, it requires needs to be coupled with like real intense therapy and work. And like you could, maybe have some type of procedure that helps or whatever, but that needs to be coupled with like sending those signals down, because nerves are really weird things and they take decades to like heal and grow back.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. So I was in this intensive recovery program. So my friends all got together and to help pay for that.
That's amazing.
That was amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah. I'm sure your love grew for them too. You're like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah.
Probably something you weren't used to based on your background. How was that?
Correct. Oh, extremely validating.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to grasp everything,
Yeah.
And I was just, it was all I could do to just thank them all.
Yeah.
And then keep them updated on things. I was like, okay, if I was doing this, what would I want? Okay, I'm just going to send them all updates and keep in touch with everybody. Tell them, how, if there's, progress and where I'm at. And then it's interesting that support has just kind of followed me through my endeavors in life, with my different like film projects and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
that's like my base. Like if you look at my email base, my subscriber list, that's the base, is that crew,
I love that.
Yeah.
And so you started a whole different, like you said, a different adventure post accident. You switched careers. You started a brand new business, couple businesses you have.
Mm-hmm.
What you're wearing your t-shirt. Tell us about your company.
That's my favorite t-shirt. Sorry, it's a little worn.
I love that. I love that it's worn.
This isn't my company. This is the gym that
this is the gym.
This is the facility that I work out. This is kind of like 3 generations later of that place project walk.
Cool. Okay.
It's become this place adapt.
I like it.
Yeah, if you or anybody listening, if you know someone with a, neurological disorder like spinal cord injury, MS, brain injury, anything, like this place in Carlsbad, Adapt.
So it says Adapt Functional Movement Center.
Yeah,
in Carlsbad.
Carlsbad, California. This is the place to go to. They're highly specialized.
That's amazing.
If you're looking for something for somebody to like get stronger and plug into an amazing community and just all kinds of support on a physical level, on all types of levels, this place is rad. So, and they're a nonprofit too. So
I was gonna say,
if you have the means, look them up, make a donation.
I love that.
They're rad.
So you do mountain biking. I'm doing a 360 from the gym now.
Yeah.
You didn't mountain bike before. What is your company now? We've talked briefly about it.
Oh,
the trail system.
My consulting stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bikes, and it's amazing.
It's so weird how that's all happened. Because you're right. I'm not a mountain biker. I didn't mountain bike before my wreck. I was a surfer and a runner.
Yes.
And that's what I still am in my mind. And, what year was it? I want to say like 2008-ish. I was like researching, I was looking for a way to like surf solo, to get my board down to the water by myself. And I was looking at like off-road wheelchairs and stuff like this, online researching, which constantly doing that kind of stuff. And I came across a picture of this bike, this adaptive bike, full suspension off-road bike. And I clicked on it. One click led to another, and I ended up buying this thing. My intent was to be able to surf solo and get on the trail, get back to trail running, quote unquote trail running. That was my intention for this thing. So I actually had a different mountain bike that was like gravity driven only, like full suspension.
So no motor,
downhill only, only for the bike park.
Okay.
So I sell that, and I had a friend help me out with a little cash, and all together after selling the bike and my friend helping me, I had $9,800 in my bank account, and the bike was $9,400.
So you have $400 left.
I wrote the check for $9,400
for this bike.
I had $400 left.
Wow.
And I bought this bike, and that's kind of how it started.
That's amazing.
So I was taking this bike out and just like getting in trouble, like out on the trail. Okay, like riding like a hand cycle on the road is one thing.
Right.
Once you get on the trail and get off-road, it's a whole other animal.
I did mountain biking for the first time. Not your style, but still biking. It's hard. Like you got the undulations, you have the road, you have, like I watched one of your videos, like, well, you go down rocks and stuff. Don't put me in that category. I was like, so in the winter, you have your snowboarding mountain. Yeah. And they turn the mountain into a mountain bike park.
Yep.
And I didn't know that there's the blues, the greens, the blacks, just as there was.
Yep.
So we went mountain biking one day. It's hard. So for you to do a complete, and you're not like pedaling either. Like you have it in your hands, right?
My bike has a hand crank,
yes,
and a throttle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I was watching your videos.
Now, that first bike was fully manual. It's hand powered only.
Oh my gosh.
But I now have power assist, which is a game changer. Now I'm not. Now I'm not a burden on the pace.
Yeah, because I was watching you ride with your crew with your new bike. Then this is the new bike, and it helped you get like up over some humps.
Yep.
Because like your arms will never compete with your legs. Like your legs are a powerhouse.
And gravity too.
Oh my gosh.
When you're pedaling with your legs, you have gravity to push down on the pedal.
Yes.
I have like less of that with the hand crank.
Yes. And the distribution of your weight.
100%.
All the things.
100%. All the things.
So you got into mountain biking, never mountain biking before, to eventually get back into surfing.
Oh yeah, I started surfing right away after my accident.
How?
How do I surf?
Yes. Wait, this is amazing.
Yeah, I have a board that's called a wave ski. It's very popular in the islands, South Africa, UK, actually, a style of board. It's basically a sit down.
I was going to look it up.
Oh.
But my phones are current. Okay, I'll look it up. But this is amazing.
You don't have a Jamie?
No.
Rogan's Jamie?
What is that?
That's Rogan's guy that like looks up everything while they're talking.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a one-stop camera crew. I do the operations of filming and the interviews.
Band?
This is a one-woman band. You know how that is. Wait, so did you start your company based off of after buying this bike, or did this put something in? Did this plant your seed?
Say that again.
So when you start, because you have a company where you help with bikes and trail systems now.
Yeah.
Is this $9,400 purchase the purchase that levered or compelled you to keep going into the biking industry?
Yeah. Okay. So let's put a pin in surfing.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's finish how the consulting started.
Okay.
Right? Is that fair?
Absolutely. I want to hear all the things because this is part of your story.
So the beginning of how I got into consulting is I ended up getting this bike, and then I was just getting stuck and getting into these like very precarious situations out on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, just coming up empty handed, like looking online for information where I can ride safely. And so I contacted like the main mountain bike trail resource app. It's called Trail Forks.
Okay.
Called them up. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about documenting this information so that riders like me can use the app like anybody else? And they're like, yes, we've been wanting to do this.
Wait, this is amazing.
Yeah. So like I developed like a rating system and everything for trails, and that's being used more and more widely. And then as part of, so I was like, okay, I'm going to start this like trails project, like basically documenting trails for adaptive riders. So I fired up a YouTube channel, started making videos, started a trail blog, and documenting my experiences.
Wow.
So the rating system is like coupled with all that stuff for like further information, videos, stuff. And the videos just became fun.
Yeah.
Like I kind of have two audiences.
Okay.
Like there's the audience that wants the trail information. They don't want like just the raw, uncut.
Love that.
Trail video.
Yeah.
They want to see the trail. And then the majority, like all other people, want like the fun, edited.
To see the life.
With the behind the scenes stuff, the music, the fun.
Yeah, they're fun videos.
Yeah.
You sent me some.
They're getting better. They're getting better.
It's
getting better.
It's great.
I don't like them. It's all changing. We talk about that too. So like I started making these videos and having fun with them. And then at the same time I'm doing all this, there happens to be this wave of project managers and land managers wanting to make their trails adaptive bike friendly. And I just happened to be the person like doing stuff and, getting my name out there. And I started getting hired to help consult on trail projects and stuff. And now it's been several years later, and that's kind of how it started.
I just hear blessings. Like,
right? Yeah.
Like you're literally riding the wave of life for you. Like your life is a freaking wave.
Seriously.
Your surfing didn't stop.
No.
Metaphorically, you're still surfing. Actually, not even. Physically, you're still surfing too.
Surf. Yeah. And we can talk about that. So the board I surf on, it's called a wave ski. To anybody that like isn't in the surfing world, it pretty much looks like a kayak.
Okay.
But it's basically a sit down surfboard. Like if you flip it over and look at the bottom, it's literally a surfboard. It's very different than a kayak.
Okay.
It's fiberglass.
Can you flip over and get back over? Like, is it buoyant so you don't
I have a quick release belt.
Okay.
So when I wipe out, I pull the belt and I eject. And then I got to flip it back over and climb back on.
And you can swim in the water?
I can swim forever. I'm a floater.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. If I just don't do anything, I float.
How did you learn that you could swim?
I started swimming
post-accident.
Well, I've surfed my entire life.
Okay, so you're a water guy.
Life.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started swimming, like learning how to actually swim correctly and stuff. Not till college when I was working towards becoming a lifeguard.
Okay. You have to be comfortable in the water.
Very comfortable in the water, very at home. That's kind of a testament to like knowledge is power. Like only half my body works and I'm perfectly fine in the ocean, can surf big waves, as opposed like when you think about someone, their whole body works and they're not, don't know anything about the ocean. They're screwed out there.
Right.
Don't go out there. It's dangerous, So it's kind of a weird thing. Like it shows you that a lot of sports is just in your head.
Wow. That's amazing. And you just found another way.
Well, yeah.
Like you didn't let it stop you. You make it look effortless, by the way, like your mentality about becoming paralyzed How did you get to that point though? How did you get to this point? Because it's
that's okay. I wish it didn't look like that. I wish, and that's something that I want to change.
Okay,
especially with my channel. I don't want it to look effortless. It's not effortless. It's the very opposite of effortless.
Yeah.
Effortless. It is a lot of work and it's really hard.
What's hard?
Everything. It's so much work. I posted a video recently of like my prep for a ride.
Yeah.
It was in Sedona, and the video itself, I want to say, is like 10 minutes.
Right.
But that was like an hour and a half. Like the 10 minutes already is excruciating. Like if you watch it, it's like, oh my God, there's so many steps involved.
Everything steps for you.
But the reality of that, okay, that 10 minutes is excruciating. Like it took me an hour and a half to get ready for this ride.
Right.
You know, getting my, bike off the lift on the back of my car and all the rigmarole.
I love that word.
It's a major effort. Anything I do involves like these big pieces of equipment, managing that equipment is tough.
And you're not standing. Like we take it for granted. Well, I'm not going to say everyone, but it's easy to take walking for granted. I mean, I remember trying to find a place here for you and I to have this interview. And there are so many places with stairs and logistics. And so I'm like, I really got a life in your shoes for even just trying to find an interview. Like I'm not downplaying it, but just to find a place, like your life takes a lot of planning.
Yeah, yes and no. Like we talked about, like we could have easily figured anything out.
Right.
Like you're strong.
Right. Thank you. I am.
And I can walk on my hands, kind of scoot on my butt. You can hold my legs. And getting upstairs would have been no problem.
But for everything in your life to scoot and go and help and this and that, I mean, that is your life now.
Adapting.
How do you not get angry? How do you not get upset? Or do you still have those
good
moments?
Question. Very good question. A lot of people do get angry. And I see it with people. It's okay. And I get in trouble for saying this a lot. Like I ruffle feathers a lot with this. But my mindset is it's not the world's responsibility to adapt to me, but my responsibility to adapt to the world. And like the proof is in the pudding. Like my quality of life is elevated if everywhere I go, everything I do is my responsibility, not the responsibility of anything outside me. Like, okay, there's the American Disabilities Act of 1978 that says, any public place
ADA.
the ADA has to allow me entry into the front door and access to a bathroom if there's a public bathroom. But like that doesn't get me to the tops of mountains,
Right. So if you want to get to the top of the mountain,
or on the ocean,
the only difference between you and the top of the mountain is you.
Yeah. It's point A to B and it's logistics.
And it's, if you want it, you'll go for it. And that's what I'm hearing over and over. But back to the piece of you do make it look easy. Like your energy, your attitude, like
emotionally easy?
Yeah. I just feel like, what do you feel? Like, how do you stay motivated during those times? How do you stay motivated?
That's another good question. And it's something I've actually recently been trying to like figure out about myself. I am like robotic in a lot of ways with stuff.
I really with that. Yeah.
And like tactical. Is probably a better word than robotic. Like just tactical orientated mind. That's how my mind works. It's very systems orientated. Mm-hmm. And so when I say it's business mode, it's a matter of like applying the scientific method to eliminate steps in anything. And so that's my constant mindset is like, how can I make this more efficient? How can I eliminate steps?
Mm-hmm. And one of those steps I'm hearing is you don't got time to be upset.
I don't have time to be upset.
You don't have time to dwell or wish it could change.
No, because that doesn't get me. That doesn't help me achieve my goal. It's an important emotion to embrace and to and do my best to understand. And so I do a lot of journaling, and that's the time for that.
Yeah, good.
To talk to myself.
Yes.
And organize those thoughts.
But you don't let it overtake you.
Yeah.
What comes to mind when you're talking about all these challenges and how we can bring it for our listeners is, people go through tough shit. People have things that happen to them like you. And you've had this resilience just to rise. And I believe that your upbringing has really done that for you. Every time in your life you push through or overcome it. What do you have for tips or anything for someone listening in that just something happened to them and it's defeating them?
That's a really good question. The 5-minute rule is good.
Love that.
Give yourself 5 minutes with it and then
let the flood works go.
And then it's business mode from there on.
Right.
After 5 minutes. 5-minute rule is a practical, useful tool. Well,
I mean, even just like a mindset.
Put things in perspective. For example, COVID was nothing compared to what I face every day.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, come on, people. Stop crying. Really? I didn't lose anybody. Yeah. I actually have kind of lost a business.
Happens,
I've said I haven't lost a business, but I actually have with COVID. On 2021, I had 70 grand worth of speaking gigs canceled, and they have not come back yet. Hopefully, yet. Finish my books first, and then they'll come back.
But life happens, like you said. Even if COVID happened, that might be really hard for somebody, just like your accident or just like losing someone. If we didn't judge, but that hardship comes.
It's going to happen, and well, for me, like I work out side by side with my quadriplegic friends every day.
And what is that?
That puts things into perspective.
How so?
Have you ever worked out next to a quadriplegic?
No. A quadriplegic, just to remind me, is someone who doesn't have access of their whole body.
Okay, yeah. So I'm a paraplegic. I broke my back.
Okay, paraplegic.
A quadriplegic, their spinal cord and their neck has been affected.
So lower body,
upper body.
So it affects
their lower limbs. Usually you can see the difference in hands. Like I have this right here.
When you're moving your fingers.
This is independence. Most quadriplegics do not have this. You'll see, look, their hands are like this.
All right. So, and they're still working out.
Yeah. So they have use of their upper body, but like limited use of their upper body, where I have like full use of my upper body.
And that's freedom to you.
Yeah, but
it's humbling.
I have quadriplegic friends that are completely independent. It's insane to me.
Really?
Like putting things, okay, so look what that has done for me.
Yeah.
That has made me thankful I don't have this,
but
it's made me very thankful for this.
Right. Your freedom is in your hands.
It has put that
into
perspective for me. So if we can just do that, like it makes us grateful for what we do have. That's an important thing to do.
So another tool I'm hearing is your gratitude.
Thankfulness and gratitude is a huge thing. Yeah. Okay. Here's a little story for it with that. Okay. I actually always said before my wreck that being paralyzed would be my worst nightmare. Those words have left my lips.
Oh no.
Right?
So you've put this into existence almost.
Oh, I jinxed myself, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Not jinx yourself, but it was such a fear that it.
No, it wasn't a fear, but if someone were to ask me like, what's your worst nightmare?
Paralyzing.
Because I was always like very kind of claustrophobic. So I was like, oh yeah, being buried alive or being paralyzed would be like the worst thing ever.
And here we are.
And then use your imagination. What's the worst part of being paralyzed? We're all adults in the room. Bathroom stuff.
Sex. Okay.
Well,
can you still have sex?
Yes, I can.
Amazing. Well, because you told earlier, and it was on the back of my head, I'm sure a lot of us are thinking like, okay, if you got split right down the middle, what's that like? I mean,
oh, well, I actually have a pump installed
to have a hard penis.
Yes.
Amazing.
So
wait, there's technology out there.
And that works great.
Wait, that is so cool.
It's awesome. It's not the same.
It's different. Not. Your life completely.
And,
was that hard? Literally? Was that hard to get used to?
It's been an interesting journey with that. That's been an interesting journey. But the human body is a crazy thing how it adapts. Like I can have this crazy like full body orgasm that is
really
way better than ejaculating.
Really?
It's insane.
And I can't ever say that because I'm not paralyzed. So you've had a before experience and a post experience or post accident, pre-accident. So you can literally say, oh, I remember that this time and after. And you're saying that your body is highly sensitized now.
Where I can feel is.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Like, and the way a doctor explained it to me, like, okay, think of this like little spot, one spot on your body. Like there's, less surface area to pay attention to now. So that spot gets
10 times the attention.
Yeah. He's like, it's not that you're, that's an interesting thing.
That is interesting.
Yeah. be able to like understand and feel like little feelings that are probably already in existence. You just don't feel them because this other sensation like takes over, is more powerful,
Wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That is so
crazy.
Cool. So you have a pump. How has dating changed for you? I'm curious. Obviously you can't walk, but what are like your confidence?
I've always been confident.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. I have no problem finding dates. I don't know. And again, a lot of it has to do with my immaturity.
How so?
Like we were saying earlier, I didn't really have parenting. So I have learned how to be a good man and a good partner like later in life on my own.
Wow.
So I'm a little behind the curve with a lot of stuff when it comes to dating. Like it took me a while to understand the difference between my face and my ass.
Well, yeah.
Until
you've said that statement a couple times.
My early 30s is probably when I started to know that difference, I'd say. So, just a little behind the curve. Like we were talking about our mutual friends, like Dado. Like I'll use him as an example.
Yeah.
He's someone who grew up with really good parents.
Yes.
And so he was ahead of the curve, like already even in, I met him probably when, even before he was 20, and he's already this like solid man.
Yeah, I can relate with that. I can totally relate to that. You learn things that we didn't have growing up.
Yeah.
I married into a good family. And so some of the things I'm like, wait, like if I only knew that then, but we know it now. But I think the lack of, it sounds like we've had a similar upbringing in terms of lack of family, and then you go and see it. To me, I strive to, that's attractive to me in terms of a family. 100%. Like it's something to work towards or wow, that feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't know that was even possible.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
just what comes to mind for me is like, okay, our friends can teach us too.
100%. Yeah. My friends are
your family.
We're all teachers and we're all students at the same time. But yeah, dating's weird. I'm really focused on my health and well-being right now.
I like that.
So my bandwidth is shortened.
How so?
That's kind of gotten me in trouble a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Where like, I kind of saying I don't have time for it right now.
Right. Well, you're choosing you. It's all, we see everything as an evolution that you got to this point and everything behind in your life has led you to this point. Right. And so not seeing dating as, okay, part of dating is dating myself so I can be that better person for when I do meet that person.
Yeah, that's well said.
That's what I'm hearing.
I like that. I'm kind of dating myself.
You're dating yourself because like you said, you don't have a problem getting dates. It's maybe how you're showing up, or you need to work on yourself so that way you can attract the partner you actually deep down desire.
Yeah.
Some people don't live opposite. They say, oh, I need to have this boyfriend in order to be that better person.
We know
that isn't true.
Oh God, no. No, don't do that. So yeah, I'm putting time into myself right now. So dating's I'm not really putting any time into it.
So when you say you're putting time in yourself, what does that mean?
So, I've been a pro athlete my whole life, and that has taken its toll on my body. Mm-hmm. Kind of living with reckless abandon, like with my body for a very long time. And I feel every crash now. So, I've made a switch, and very recently, instead of, constantly performing activities that break my body down, I want to be constantly performing activities that build my body. So I'm in a major life transition right now with that, and learning and getting into that routine and that lifestyle is a process. And so that's where I'm putting all my time and energy and focus into.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that probably feels good.
It does. It feels really good.
Because you've probably been just running hard your whole life.
Yeah. As cool as that bike is, it's very hard on my body. Extremely hard on my body. So basically I've stopped riding that bike. Okay. Recently, yeah.
The manual one or that motorized one? Not the motorized, but the on-gravity assisted. Unassisted gravity.
Correct. Yeah, it has both. It has a hand crank and a power assist and a throttle. I have options with it. But yeah, also, my main source of exercise for almost past decade, having a power assist, has played its toll as well. Whereas now I have a manual bike that I'm riding more often, and it's super slow and it's very arduous, but I'm getting my heart rate in the red every time,
I feel like a consistent message is really this has been a gift for you to listen to your body. This accident, this honoring the things that you didn't have, asking for help. listening to your body, believing in yourself. Like, this is all a testament to your story. And as we wrap up the podcast today, I want you to share, if anything we didn't cover or I'd asked you want to leave with our listeners. You can do so right now, or if not, totally fine. But your story is super inspiring. And is there anything that you do want to share that I didn't ask you?
Well, we started talking about sex and stopped talking about you had asked, like, what are some practical things? I was talking about putting things in perspective.
Yeah.
And I started telling a story about putting things into perspective that I think is really important. Living with a spinal cord injury, bathroom stuff is probably the hardest part, but I have this.
Your hands, you're moving.
I can do all that myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to hire somebody to come over to do it. Tell me with it, like a home nurse or caregiver, like my quadriplegic friends do.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the worst part of my worst nightmare, there's thankfulness to be found.
Yeah, I hear you.
Talk about a mind fuck,
How do you be thankful for getting paralyzed? Right? Like that is a mind fuck.
Or thankful that I'm paralyzed at a level where I can do all that stuff. I can do everything completely on my own.
Like you're not fully paralyzed. And for you to see that as a blessing is not a blessing, but it is a blessing.
And what are the things every day that cause us pain, cause us inconvenience, cause us discomfort that could be, what was the phrase you use, that are like holding us back, stopping us, whatever we're just super upset about, that it's just
the radical acceptance
that are consuming us. That we could really, if we were able to step back, put things in perspective and be able to find thankfulness even in the midst of those things.
I agree.
I feel like that's really important thing to do.
Yeah. I think that when we do practice that thankfulness and that gratitude, it really, like you said, puts the things in perspectives that we overlooked or that could be out of our lives.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Where would you like them to follow you?
My Instagram, JP McGhee.
JP McGhee on all platforms?
I'm JP McGhee on all platforms. There's a H after the G.
All right. And then we'll put we didn't even talk about your documentary or your series. So we'll have to tag that below and maybe we'll have a part 2.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, but an hour goes by so fast.
It goes by so fast.
I think we're at an hour and 15.
That's why I usually do my podcast like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. Oh, he has a podcast, you guys. What's your podcast?
The Jeremy P. McGhee podcast.
See, the consistency here is amazing. I've appreciated your time. Your story is unbelievable. Truly.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
We're going to be friends now.
Hey, this is part of the podcast.
I might even be in Jackson this summer. I think I was telling you.
Come. We'll host you.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Seriously.
Get you on a mountain bike.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. That's so great. No, we are friends. And that's
me and
why
James can sit around and drink whiskey. Does he drink whiskey?
Oh yeah, he does.
Can we drink whiskey and do Anchorman quotes?
Oh yeah. So we've been doing so many one-liners. This is hilarious. I come out, my favorite part is, like you said, we're friends now. That's why I started this podcast, because people like you, I would have never met you. If I didn't have this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
So fun. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed hearing Jeremy's story as much as I enjoyed our conversation. His message of resilience, gratitude, and embracing life's unexpected turns was truly inspiring. Please be sure to follow Jeremy on Instagram at JPMcGhee, MCGHEE, to stay up to date on all his adventures. And don't forget to subscribe and rate this podcast. It really helps us out and allows more inspiring stories like this one to reach people who need to hear them. Before I let you go, I'll leave you with one final thought from Jeremy. Our abilities lie not in what we lack, but in our willingness to embrace each day as a new gift. Keep that in mind the next time challenges threaten to hold you back. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this community. I hope Jeremy's interview has left you feeling motivated to live fully each day, no matter what comes your way. Until next time, be good to yourselves and to each other. I hope today's episode left you better than when I found you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tune in every Monday to kickstart your week and set your weekly intentions with me. You can find me and HFH on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, or online at heycourtneybrooke.com. I firmly believe in the power of sharing. If you know someone else who would benefit from this podcast, please share it with them. And remember, when you work on you, I get to be there.